Well, good morning, everyone. I think we'll get started because it looks like several people are on the Zoom session. Welcome to our first Zoom version of our Community Advisory Council. So I hope everyone received the agenda for today. I thought I'd just give a very brief overview of our time together. We have 2 hours together like we usually do. So we'll start with some introductions. Then we'll just go over some of the logistics of using Zoom. I have an update, some updates for you. Then we'll spend the bulk of our time in our breakout discussions. There'll be 2 groups that we'll hear more about, and we'll break into the 2 groups, one on community supports and services, and the other on education and training for about 30 minutes each, and you'll learn about the breakout room feature of Zoom. And then we'll come back together and discuss as a group and then have some time for member updates and then hopefully end a few minutes early so you can complete the evaluation for today. So before we go any further, I just want to say before we go into our introductions that if please be careful about using acronyms. So if you use an acronym, please just say out the words and call me out if I don't do the same. So I thought we would start with introductions. And in the introduction, if you can say your name, where you are, what part of the state you're from, and your experience with disability. So I'll start us off, and then because we haven't used Zoom before, I'll just kind of go through my list of who I see on the screen and just ask you to do it, and then we can talk about some of the logistics about how we can interact using Zoom. So my name is Sharon Milberger. I live in Farmington Hills, Michigan, Southeast Michigan. I work in Detroit, Michigan, at the Michigan Developmental Disabilities Institute, where I'm the director, and I am also a family member. So I'm gonna just look through here, and I'm gonna call out based on how I see you. So Michael, I see you next, so if you could introduce yourself.
Sure, my name is Michael Bray. I'm with the Michigan Developmental Disabilities Institute, Associate Director for Dissemination and Technology. And just wanna say, if you have any issues today, I see there's a few people that are still logging on, please you can chat or let me know. Thank you. Oh.
Great, thanks. Neva, I see you next.
Okay. Hi, I'm Neva Nahan. I live in Plymouth, Michigan, and I work at Wayne State in Detroit. I'm at the School of Social Work, and I'm the coordinator for research there. And I am the parent of a daughter who has cerebral palsy.
Thanks, Neva. And Kathleen, I see you next. Kathleen Kovach. And yep, you got to unmute yourself. Great.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Kovach. I also live in Farmington Hills. I work in Troy at the Oakland Community Health Network, which is the community mental health organization in Oakland County. I'm the COO, Deputy Executive Director, and I have family members, probably with all types of disabilities. Thank you. Pleasure to be here with you, and I do have to exit early. I'm going to a supported decision-making meeting in Lansing.
Okay, thanks for the heads up. We won't take it personally when you sign off.
All right.
Great, thanks. Angela.
Hi, my name is Angela Martin. I work at the Michigan Developmental Disabilities Institute as the Associate Director for Community Supports and Services. I live in Berkeley, which is in Oakland County, and I am a family member.
Thanks, Angela. Okay, Elizabeth.
Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Jenks, and I work here at my DDI. I'm a family member. I live in Bloomfield Township, and my son Robert is 31, and he has intellectual and developmental disabilities.
Thanks. Jennifer Hurst.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Hurst, and I am a vocational consultant with Michigan Rehabilitation Services. My location of the state is I report to downtown Lansing, but I also live in Marshall. So there's my commute that I make there. And I previously was a counselor before becoming a consultant, and I have a daughter with ADHD.
Thanks. So welcome, and Jennifer is one of our new advisory council members, so welcome.
Thank you.
And next is Barb.
I'm Barbara Value. I live in East Lansing. I work for UCP Michigan, and I have CP.
Great, thanks. Next up is Alice Frame.
Hi, I'm Alice. I live over in the Lansing area, and I coordinate the state's disability health unit over in the Health and Department of Health and Human Services. And I apologize if my video goes in and out. That seems to be happening. So sorry about that.
No problem. We don't, I currently don't see you in my box here, but I see your name.
Okay.
Great. Leslyn.
Okay, thank you. Hi, this is Leslyn Angel from UCP Detroit and UCP Michigan. I'm the CEO for both organizations. I live in West Bloomfield, work in Southfield and in Lansing. I also have, I don't have an immediate family member with disabilities, but I do have family members as well that have disabilities.
Okay. Thanks, Leslyn. Okay, Sherry.
Hi, I'm Sherry Boyd, and I'm the director at the ARC Michigan. I live in East Lansing, Michigan. My son has ADHD, and I also have a family member with Down syndrome. And I think that's what I was supposed to say.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sherry. So hopefully we'll get an introduction from Rita and Denise momentarily. And as you can see, we are using Zoom. So there are some challenges sometimes in using this technology. It's a pretty good technology, so I hope that we'll be able to work out some of these kinks. So the first one was about what it will probably have you do is while we're on and you're not talking, if there's background noise, so please go on mute. And then if you want to say something, you can either just unmute yourself and speak up. We don't want this to be terribly formal. Or there is a raise your hand button. Mike, do you want to describe that? Anything on the raise the hand button?
Sure. Down at the bottom where it should say participants. If you click on that, then in the participant panel, there should be a little hand icon. If you click on that, it'll show you as raising your hand, just like Denise did. Thank you, Denise. You're unmuted right now if you'd like to say something.
Okay, this is Denise. Can you hear me?
Sure
yes.
can.
Okay, great. I just decided to call in. This is Denise Perkins, a family physician at Henry Ford Health System and director of our Institute of Multicultural Health, and happy to join today.
Great. Welcome, Denise. And then also today's session, just so everyone knows, a feature of Zoom is that we can record this. So though you're being recorded. There is a feature in Zoom where we can go into breakout rooms and we'll have a discussion. I'd mentioned that we'll spend a bulk of our time today doing breaking into two groups, and that will be in virtual breakout rooms. So you'll get to experience that that feature. There's also something on Zoom where you can do quizzes and polling. So we'll do an example of a poll in just a moment. Any other things, Mike, that you would want people to know about Zoom?
No, it seems like everyone's navigating it.
Okay, so hopefully we will get Rita in momentarily, and I appreciate everyone kind of working with our delays here. Mike, I don't know if you can multitask and get the link to Rita and the poll question, or we can come back to the poll question.
No, that's fine. I'm going to launch a poll question right now. Sharon,
okay.
You want to introduce it?
Yes, this is a very important topic, and we want your feedback on it. So Mike will pull it up. Do I have to stop sharing? Oh, no, there you go.
And so you can click right on the screen to answer the question.
I don't know.
Yeah, we can keep that as one of the choices.
Oh, I see.
All right, does everybody have a chance to answer the very important question?
Yes.
And now I'll show you the results. It seems like we only want to watch the commercials. Oh, we have some Patriots fans, though.
That doesn't mean they're
troubling.
fans.
That's troubling.
It just means they think they're going to win. So no one thinks the Rams, and of course the Saints cannot win. So the reason I did that is just to show you this is a feature just as we're trying this out, so that just keep that in mind for things that we can do for, other topics that of importance. And Mike, I'll leave it up to you to let me know when Rita joins us.
She's back on now, and I'm going to work with her to join by phone as well.
Okay, and in all seriousness, I show this every time that we get together, just because this is really important, and that is just to always keep in mind, we count on our council to advise us in the work that we do, and it's all about our mission, which is to contribute to the development of inclusive communities and quality of life for people with disabilities and their families. So I have several updates, and Mike, I'll let you just let me know when Rita's on. We have 2 new CAC members. We have Chris Lurchin, and who I don't believe is on right now. And we also have Jennifer Hurst. So welcome to the CAC. And one of the things that I'm working on is to create a handbook or manual for new CAC members. As we get new members on, this is a helpful tool, and even for those that are on the council, to have that information. So stay tuned up for that. We will be having that, so that hopefully just some of the information that we share, we won't have to repeat each time we get together, since we don't get together that often. We also, with the agenda for today, we sent a list of our current projects that we have going on. And for those of you that looked at the list, you can see there are many. And rather than going through them, it's just, we put who the main person is leading each project. So if you have questions and you want to get more information on any of the projects, we can do that, but we'll probably just ask that we do that offline, unless there's something that's really confusing that we would need to address currently. We also, as part of our CAC, I don't have it today, we are in the process of updating it, is that we keep a scorecard related to our various projects and activities, just so that we can get a sense of, are we on task, and how we're progressing. So for our next in-person meeting, we'll plan to bring a copy of that. We have a couple of staffing updates. We have a new hire, a new research assistant, Amy Peckinpah, who many of you know because she was on our CAC previously, and now Amy's a staff member, so she's not on our council, and Chris Lurchin actually filled in for Amy's slot as a family member. We also have a vacancy, a research assistant for a position for our dissemination coordinator. Emily Milligan Thompson is moving to Belgium, so she will not be able to do that commute. So we are in the process of interviewing. We've already had a couple of excellent candidates, and we have several more that we'll be interviewing. So team, anything I'm forgetting on some of these updates? I have more, but anything related to staffing or the project scorecard that anyone would like to add from the MyDDI team?
Nope, I think we're good.
Great, thanks. All right, so then continuing with my updates, I think at the last time that we got together in the fall, we had mentioned that we were going to be having a premiere of the documentary Intelligent Lives, which is a film that Dan Habib made. The film, I don't know, for those of you, I should have done a poll question of who's seen the film, but in any case, we did have a premiere at Wayne State on October 18th, and in partnership with the College of Education. And the film really, it follows 3 young adults with intellectual disabilities and raises a lot of questions and topics around intelligence testing and what is intelligence and what, importance of inclusion. And it's a very, it's 70 minutes long, and it covers a lot of information. So one of the things that we decided, because there's so much information covered in the film, but really in some ways more questions than answers, is that we created a series of special interest forums that help us do a deeper dive in some of the pretty weighty topics that are covered in the film. So to date, we've had 3 forums. They're done via Zoom, and without too many technical difficulties, I'm happy to say. So we had one in November, which was on intelligence testing and assessment. We had a neuropsychologist, Dr. Jen Larson, who talked about intelligence testing and assessment. And then also one of our presenters for that was David Taylor, who is a member of, most of you know, he's a member of our advisory council, giving his perspective on intelligence testing assessment. It was I thought it was great. I thought all of them were great, so you're going to hear me say that again and again. And those forums are each an hour long, and again, these via Zoom. The second forum was on circles of support. That was in December. That was included Janice Fialka and Micah Fialka Feldman. Janice's son is one of the young adults featured in the film. And she it talked about circles of support, and we had David Taylor back again as a presenter, along with Pat Carver, who had a conversation around this topic. And then just earlier this month, we had our third forum, which was on inclusive education and inclusive communities, and that included Jill England, who is an expert in inclusive education, as well as Abby Loy and Luann Loy, and most of you know Luann, who is also a member of our council, who had a conversation around inclusion. Again, a really rich conversation. And with each of these forums, there are resources that are shared so that people know how to get more information. I forgot to mention also, at the premiere itself, following the film, we had a panel discussion that included, where we had just some questions from the audience, some questions from me, that included Janice Fialka, Dr. Theo Ressa, who is from the College of Education here at Wayne State University, and then Abby Loy, again, shared some of her experiences, and Abby asked that her mom, Luann, joined her on stage. So I'm really excited about these forums because I just think these are all very important topics. I hope this will be a value to people in Michigan and just nationally who want more information on these topics. We anticipate we're going to have 2 more forums. One will be March 21st, that will be focusing in on higher education, and Michael Bray will be facilitating that session. And then we expect to have at least one more on alternatives to guardianship and supported decision-making, and Ann Corrales will be facilitating that conversation, and we're still working on the date for that one. Any questions on this? Or, oh, and I also forgot to mention, because we use Zoom, the forums are recorded. So if you would like to see them, if you didn't get to see them in real time, they are available on our website. And for the ones, just so folks know that for the future forums, that we do offer one continuing education credit in social work if you listen in real time. You can't listen to the recording and get the CEU. But if you should have that need for a CEU, that is something that's available. Anything on the forum? Any questions from anybody?
Hi, this is Kathleen.
Hi, Kathleen.
We actually have a training director at our organization at Oakland Community Health Network. So I would like to make sure that she gets information about the forums. Of course, we have a community team also, and we like to make sure information gets out in our newsletter. So I'm not exactly certain if that connection has been made, but if not, please let me know, and I'd like to make sure we get a connection with both our public relations team as well as training team.
Hi, Kathleen. This is Michael. If you could facilitate that and just shoot an email to me and the members of your team, then we can go from there, and I'll make sure that they're connected to all of our announcements.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
And Mike, I'm assuming that everybody on the CAC gets the flyers and the announcements of the forums. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. We send out an email with the link to the flyer and the attachment for the flyers from the CAC usually. Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks. Okay. And then I did want to mention that there is a showing of the film in March in DeWitt, Michigan, and the information is here. So just, and we can share this. Again, I just wanted to, and I don't know if there are other opportunities to see the film on the big screen, but we knew of this one. And Mike, do you know of any other ones coming up locally?
No, that's the only one that I'm aware of, and this is, we just put this on the website as well. There were some, but I believe those have all happened already.
Okay, great. And this one has a post-screen discussion. It's probably similar to what we had, which is with Janice and Rich Fialka Feldman.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. I did want to let everybody know that, believe it or not, we are starting to recruit for our 4th cohort of for our LEND program. So we are going to be accepting applications online on our website from February 1st through May 1st. And we are looking for the program, we are looking to recruit promising future leaders in various health-related disciplines, including medicine, nursing, dentistry, social work, education, public health, OT, PT, audiology, speech and language. We also are looking to recruit family members and self-advocates for a year-long program that's run over 2 semesters to be what we call a long-term LEND trainee. So we have lots of information on our website about the program. There's also a new video that's on our website. We didn't create this video, but explains more about the LEND program. So please spread the word for people that you think would be really promising leaders that we would want to groom. Any questions on the LEND? I realize I don't want to repeat a lot of information about this. There is in that project description packet that we sent with the agenda, there is more information on the LEND.
Sharon, we're in the process of sending out the recruitment flyers now ahead of February 1st, so I'll make sure the all CIC members get a copy of one of the flyers that has the information.
Wonderful. Thanks, Mike. Okay, so I am happy to report that we have some new funding. I think the last time we got together, we said we had some funding, a grant we submitted that was pending. Well, we got it funded. This is a grant. It's called Michigan Older Caregivers of Emerging Adults with Neurodevelopmental Disabilities Family Support Project. So that's a mouthful. So it's also known as My Ocean Family Support Project. And this was submitted to the Michigan Health Endowment Fund, and who loved our idea. So we have funding for 2 years. It's a big grant. It's $500,000 over the 2-year period. It's a statewide initiative, and basically we are looking to pair 100 aging caregivers with 12 family support navigators or mentors. And we know that older caregivers who have emerging adults are 21 and older, who have a family member with a neurodevelopmental disability, have unique challenges and demands on their life. Not only are they concerned about their loved one with a neurodevelopmental disability, but they're also dealing with their own aging-related issues. So we know this is a group with great need. We're very excited. I think this is a very innovative approach. Elizabeth Jenks, who I hope you'll chime in, is the project manager on this as well. And just wanted to tell you a little bit more about kind of who we're looking for. So we're looking for family caregivers, aging, and just to point out that for the Michigan Health Endowment Fund, they care about 2 populations, aging and children. So it's not that they don't care about people in between, but those are their 2 focus areas. So this funding that we submitted was really focusing in on the aging piece. And now we know that according to the Michigan Health Endowment Fund, aging is 60 and older. I mean, we're all aging, but this is for older. We were told that it's 60 and above. So we are looking for family caregivers, 60 and older. And then to be a caregiver, it would be someone who provides at least 20 hours a week of physical, social, or emotional support to an individual, in this case, a family member that has a disability. And the family member who the caregiver supports does not have to reside in the same home. So we're looking to recruit 12 family support navigators or mentors to provide peer support to, and our number that we're trying to reach is 100 aging caregivers across the state. So the way that we're doing that is we're looking to recruit navigators, at least 1 navigator from each of the 10 PIHP regions, so that we have that statewide reach, and that we also make sure that we recruit aging caregivers from across the state, across the 10 PIHP regions. And a big feature or thing in this is that for the funder, they want this to be sustainable. So we're looking to create a mentorship program that could be Medicaid reimbursed, Medicaid reimbursed service. So Elizabeth, anything that you wanted to add before we ask folks if they have questions?
Oh, just some updates from yesterday. We were able to get the application process started and online, and I know Sherry, you were included on that to help us fan the application out. We're trying to locate, as Sharon is saying, folks that are caregivers 60 plus or very close to that. I know, Neva, you had a very active parent group at one point out in your area. So I don't know if you'd like me, I can send you that link and you could help us get the word out there too, Denise, as well. So just, we're looking for our family support navigators at this point and going to be going through the application process with them so they can be paid through Wayne State University.
Hi, Rita has a question. Go ahead, Rita.
Great.
I'll unmute you. Go ahead, Rita.
Okay, thank you. So unfortunately, I'm not eligible as I'm only 52, but this sounds like a very impressive project for my daughter. So here's my curiosity. I appreciate the focus on the 60 and above population and the demands placed on them and caring for, at that point, I would assume an adult child with a neurological disorder. So is there an argument, I'm just curious, was there an argument of why that would be a concentration for an adult with a disability versus a child with a disability?
So well, the reason that we did this, there were two reasons. One is that we had to focus on, the focus of this particular finding is on the aging caregiver, not necessarily the family member. So, and that was the 60 and above. The reason that we chose 21 and above is there are other peer-to-peer or family parent support programs that exist for parents that have a child who is under 21. So we were trying to fill a gap, two gaps. One is looking at this high need population that has dual needs of their own aging as well as the family members, and then also filling a gap for this type of model for where the family member that's getting this, that's receiving the support is an adult. So I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but trying to.
No, you are. Am I still muted or am I unmuted?
No, you're on. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, you answered my question perfectly. It's just that unfortunately then that creates a major gap. So my daughter's 22, a little shy of being 22, but I'm 52. So she is losing a lot of support because she's now considered an adult, but yet she doesn't qualify for a lot of support because she's financially dependent on us. So that would be obviously, and I'm seeing the physical impact of caring for her that's having taking a toll on me as I'm aging. So again, I'm just looking at it from a personal lens, so I don't mean to monopolize with my own personal story, but as it was being introduced, I was getting so excited until I heard the age. So thank you, and this is going to be great work, and I'm looking forward to hearing the impact that it has. So thank you again.
Yeah, you know,
Hi, this is Anne. Is it Rita?
Yes.
If you want to give me a call, Rita, I would like to talk to you if it would help just about kind of your situation, because there are some community programs, even if your daughter is an adult, that you could get some help at home. So if you want to give me a call, I'd love to talk to you.
Okay, and
yeah.
Thank you so much.
And I just want to add, Rita, I think the point you make is so important. And this is one of the frustrations I have, and this is kind of the nature of how you have to do what your funder wants. But I do think that one of our findings from this process can be, well, what if there's still a gap? We're taking out, we have all these requirements on age, but we don't really look at that middle. So I wouldn't necessarily, one of the things that our research team or a project team is looking at here is issues like this. What about someone who's 52, the caregiver, and is dealing with these same issues? So stay tuned, because I really want to be mindful that we want to fill as many gaps as we can and not just have, create new ones. So stay tuned on that. I hear what you're saying, and I agree. And thanks for bringing up that point.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other thoughts? I mean, we're really excited about this project. We are really looking, as Elizabeth said, to you to help us recruit so that and this is a very ambitious project and it's a short time. So, we really count on this network that, our CAC is being part of our network to help recruit and make this, to make this the best project it can be.
Sharon, Denise typed a question in the chat stating,
okay.
Do you have a job announcement that we can share with potential navigators who might apply?
So, Elizabeth?
Oh, yes, we do. And I'd be happy to send that to you. I'm going to make myself a note, actually, though, right now. That was Denise, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Denise.
And Rita, did you get a chance to, I can't remember, did you get a chance to introduce yourself now that we can hear you?
Oh, I'm not sure. I think I was muted when I thought I wasn't. Yeah. So, hi, everybody. I'm Rita Walters. As you just heard, I am the parent of a 21-year-old, soon to be 22-year-old with severe cerebral palsy. And I'm also an assistant professor at Fair State University in the Department of Social Work. And I believe this is my 4th year with the committee. So just appreciate having the opportunity to be a part of the great work that we continue to do and to network with all of you. So thank you.
Thanks. Okay. And Ann, did you want to introduce yourself? Just, I know you joined after, if you just want to say. You're muted, Ann.
Yep. This is Ann Corrales, and I'm Associate Director for Research here at DDI, but I have a history doing advocacy with families and individuals, so I kind of have a breadth of information I can share with folks about different supports and services.
Great, thanks. Okay, moving on here. Let's see. Oh, one thing I noticed, I didn't put a slide in here, but I just want to mention, just in terms of an update, there is going to be, the National Down Syndrome Society is having an adult summit in Detroit. It's the second annual summit, and it's going to be in Detroit April 4th through 6th. At the GM Rensen building. So I just wanted everyone to know about that. I think it's going to be a really great conference. My DDI is a sponsor. A couple of us will be presenting as well. So, and Mike, do we have anything on our website about the conference, the summit?
Yeah, I believe it's in our events section.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Great.
So any questions before we start to break out into our work group discussions? And what I'm going to do is just, Elizabeth and Angela, if you want to just give, so we're going to break out to 2 groups. Do you want to give your, like a quick 30-second spiel to entice people to your group? So Elizabeth, well, I see you, so why don't you go first, and then Angela, you can go after.
And I apologize. I don't know why I'm so backlit, but anyway, that's probably a good thing. But we're going to talk a little bit about gaps that you may have recognized that are training gaps that are needed to be addressed out in the field in your particular work or as a family member or as a person with a disability. We're going to be reviewing the latest self-determination module today, and then we're going to be giving you a status report on the legislative advocacy module that Michigan Protection and Advocacy has been working on for us.
Great, thanks. And Angela.
Yes, we're going to talk about some follow-up from our October discussion in the council to talk about some of the developments. The membership of the group identified several items that they would like to see my DDI work on over the next year, and we're going to share some information on the home and community-based services materials and how we are asking for your help, the council's help, to include feedback and advising us how to develop that.
Great, thanks. So Mike, do you want to describe how we're going to do this?
Sure. So Zoom has a really neat feature where we can break everyone in that's on the session right now into virtual breakout rooms. So I'm going to go down the list and call on people, and if you could tell me whether you're going to go with Elizabeth to the education and training workshop or with Angela, which is the Community Support Services and Supports Workshop, I can assign you, and then I will warp you all out to those rooms where you can have your discussions. So I'm just going to go with my list here. So Rita, which group would you like to be assigned to? Education and training.
I would like
Go ahead.
Angela's group.
Okay. All right. Denise, which group would you like to go to? Elizabeth's education and training or Angela's community services and supports?
Education and training.
Okay. And, can I ask who's joined us on the 313 number? Last four digits are 7604. I can come back to that. Leslyn, which group would you like to join?
Home and community-based services
Okay.
with Angela.
Sure. Barbara, which group would you like to join?
Training. Elizabeth.
Which ones? I'm sorry, Barbara.
Training.
Training, okay. Neva?
Training.
Training. Okay. Alice?
Training.
Okay. Jennifer Hurst?
Either one works for me, so you can just plug me into one that needs a body. How's that sound?
I'm sorry, which? Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
That's easy.
And just let me know which one you put me in.
Sure. You are in the Community Services and Supports group.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Kathleen?
Community supports and services.
Okay. And Sherry?
Angela's group.
Okay. All right. I believe we are all grouped up. Now, Sharon, I've given you co-host power, so you should be able to go in and out of each group, and we'll test that once we assign them.
Okay, great, thanks.
So I'm going to go ahead and put you all into your virtual discussion groups here. So give it a few seconds, and you'll all reconvene together in your groups.
Great. And Mike, I think Ann was going to go into Angela's group.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. Oh, you just went on mute.
Yep. Hi, Liz.
Hi, sorry I'm so late.
No, it's fine. You know what? We're actually just breaking into virtual breakout rooms, so you get to you get to choose which group to join. You can join Elizabeth's group, which is Education and Training Work Group, or Angela's, which is the Community Services and Supports.
Well, they're both wonderful. I'll go with Angela today.
Okay.
Hey, Liz, Mike, before you send Liz away, Liz, I would love to talk to you at some point about our new grant that we have on older caregivers.
Yeah.
On family caregivers. We have a new grant from the Michigan Health Endowment Fund that we're going to pair aging caregivers, 16 older, who provide support to a family member, 21 and older.
Sharon, I'm sorry. I have Barbara.
Yeah.
There should be a message on your screen for you to click to go to the education room. Did it show up for you?
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I just want to make sure you got it. So go ahead and click it, and you'll leave us.
This is really great. So sorry I missed all the updates, but I did.
I know. I just want you to know about this. So that we're looking at a peer support model, knowing that aging caregivers face, a uniquely challenging situation as they try and coordinate things for their family member, as well as their own aging-related issues.
Right.
So what we're doing is we're going to be training family support navigators who are aging caregivers themselves, who have successfully navigated the system, and then to pair them with other aging caregivers to provide resources and information, set goals, and then with the goal of having it be a Medicaid reimbursable service. So a huge thanks to Elizabeth and Angela for leading your breakout sessions. I thought, why don't we just start, and what I'd like to do is use our time to have a sharing out from each of the groups so that in case you wanted to attend both of them, you know you don't miss anything and you get to weigh in. So why don't we just start with Elizabeth? If you can just give, and anybody that was in that session, Elizabeth, why don't you kind of give a recap of what you discussed, and then of course whoever's in that session, feel free to chime in. And then whoever wasn't in that session, maybe if there's any questions, then we can dialogue around that. Okay, so
Okay.
Elizabeth, you're up.
All right. In my group today, I had Denise and Barbara, Neva and Alice. We kind of talked a little bit about gaps in training that folks may have noticed in their various disciplines across the state. I offered my DDI's expertise in either developing training around a gap that they may have noticed that's important and could improve practices to people with disabilities. And then I also offered our expertise in reviewing current curriculum, revising and updating that. And so we came across there were some training gaps that were identified. Denise talked about more training for medical students, increasing their sensitivity to working with families who have disabilities and individuals with disabilities. And so we reflected on that and some of our work with the area co-curricular project in that area and how we'd love to expand that even further. That we've noted as well that it's been really important for both the families that participate and the physicians. As we've evaluated their piece of it and found that to be very valuable. We talked a little bit about what happened with Empowerment Ed from our work group in previous meetings, and I talked about how we retired a couple of modules, and we decided to retire a Self-Determination and Introduction 2, which was very old, very basic. And we updated Michael Bray's initial attempt there at writing the self-determination module, which was quite good, but just had been done like 8 years ago, so needed to be updated. Courtney Murky did a lit review, worked with that. I know Angela's going to be also reviewing it and offering her expertise on that. And my group reviewed it and had some very good suggestions. To be honest, it's a little dry. They didn't say that, but it needs activities. It needs some videos put into it. It needs some role plays. So we're going to take all their suggestions to heart and get that put in there. It needs a pre and a post test too as well. So we talked at length about that and also reviewed the language, made sure there weren't acronyms in it. And then as we are drawing on the final draft of it, I'm going to be calling on the group to review it again for us before we go into a final copy of it and print it. We talked a little bit about the status of the Empowerment Education Legislative Advocacy module, and Mark and Rachel trained it yesterday, and so we're going to be learning how that went very soon. I was telling the group it was a bit long. So some of it needed to be tightened up a little bit. It's quite good. It's interactive. It's got some great activities. And again, I'm calling on their expertise as we're into our final draft to review it and give feedback before we go into a final print of that. So I think that accurately reflects. Alice had mentioned that her area of expertise is public health, and she offered an opportunity for us moving forward into our next year with our grant with them about maybe developing more trainings around health promotion for people with disabilities. So we appreciated that. And I think that is a summary. Unless I missed something, group, please feel free to chime in.
Thank you, Elizabeth. That sounds like you had in that short period of time, you had a very rich, you hit on a lot of topics and a rich discussion. I just wanted to open it up to others that weren't in that discussion. If you had questions for the training work group. Okay. Doesn't sound like. If you should have questions, just chime in. We can catch those after. So Angela, would you like to give a recap of the Community Supports and Services work group?
Yes, thanks for the group discussion. It was quite a rich discussion. We covered quite a bit of ground. We shared with the group that we're focused on the home and community-based services rule with some of the work that we're doing through our project with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. So our next, we've developed, if you're not familiar with that, we've developed some preliminary or early information on education and outreach, trying to inform the community about the home and community services rule. And so we have some next documents, and Amy Peckinpah from our new staff member joined our discussion and shared that we're going to be asking for Community Service Council members to review that. The frequently asked questions is our next document that we're going to share with the team and ask for their feedback, and then have a discussion at our next in-person CAC meeting, which is in April. We will also be, we highlighted the fact that we're going to be developing videos, and I made this offer, and somebody from the council jumped forward and said they'd be willing to share their story to highlight how home and community-based services will impact their lives or the lives of the people that they care about. But I make that offer and invite that participation from the broader council. If you're willing to be a part of a video, we are just talked to the production team this week to start production of a video, and would love to have, we are intending to have more than one video as new project. As the information is so rich, we need to probably break this up and make it in tangible pieces of information to take in. And so we'll have at least more than one video. So if you're looking to share your story or know somebody that would be, that'd be really helpful to us. The other information we talked about is that the statewide, there's a statewide group on supported decision making, which my DDI is involved with. We have signed on to the state position statement, and actually shortly after this meeting, this group is meeting, and it's going to be having some training opportunities, and we'll be sharing that with the full council. So if you're interested or you know people that would benefit from that training, to be a part of that. We then talked about person-centered planning and self-determination, and how we're doing some work in that. My DI is there is a upcoming training opportunity that the federal government is having on person-centered planning, and so we'll share that flyer because some of the council members and the Community Services Council showed interest. It's open to the public, but also know that the state is going to reach out to the federal government for some technical assistance. Michigan has been doing person-centered planning for a very long time, but it needs an update. It needs a kind of a shot in the arm to reinvigorate. But the work that my DDI has been doing in that area has also been focused on independent facilitation. And I shared with the council that we have done training last August and are in the stages of observing facilitators from that most recent training. But we will have training in the near future, and we'll share those the training opportunities. So if you are interested in becoming a facilitator or know that others that are, that you would help promote that opportunity. And one last thing we did talk about, and kind of to go back to the initial topic of home and community-based services, we shared on this past Wednesday, we had a webinar sharing the results from our B survey, and had a great turnout. I didn't mention we had over 100 people on that webinar. We will have this same webinar information live again next Wednesday from 2 to 3, and there's still space available. So if you're interested and available, feel free to join that webinar. If you're not, please know that we're going to post the webinar slides by Friday of next week. And with that, I think that hopefully covers everything. We had a pretty quick discussion, but if there's anything from the Community Services Council members that wanted to add or remind me of something I forgot to report out on.
Angela, I'd like to join the webinar.
Wonderful. Okay, Barb, I'll send you the webinar I'll send you the link for to register for next week's webinar.
Okay, thanks.
Absolutely. Thanks for your interest.
Great. Thank you, Angela, for that recap. Again, I'm really impressed with the amount of ground you covered in a short period of time. I just want to open it up to the training group if you had questions for Angela and the group that talked about community supports and services. Was there, Angela or Elizabeth, were there any questions that you had for those that weren't on? Anything that you'd like just to get a quick, input on? Feel free to ask.
No, I think, speaking for my DI collectively, if there are topics that come up, and I said this to the council, that come up that we're not touching on, that are just, they're hot button issues, please keep us informed and up to date, and see if there's something we can address on that, or if it's something we need to add to our work.
Yes, I would agree with that 100%, Angela, and call on you all in your work and when you're out in the field, or parents, and just your experiences. Let us know what we can be doing.
Thank you both again. So next on our agenda is just time for member updates. I wanted just to open it up to any updates that anyone would like to talk about, any events or just topics that are of interest.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. At Fair State University, our office that addresses the needs and issues for students with disabilities, we are in the early stages of proposing a set of focus group sessions with our students with disabilities. And actually we may include our faculty and staff to take part of that as well. We're just trying to figure out how to ensure that number one, there's a voice giving. Everyone has a voice, but more importantly, to ensure that there's attention given to student needs versus faculty and staff needs. So with that being said, I would appreciate if any of you have resources that you are aware of specific to not just conducting those type of focus group sessions, but just being completely inclusive. It's easy to think of persons with the more visible disabilities, accessibility issues, but we don't want to not appreciate that there may be others, disabilities that just aren't as obvious to us. So if you've taken part in those types of sessions and you have some resources to help us, that would be great. We are wanting to start as early as, I believe, the second week of February, third week of February, and do these sessions every 2 to 3 weeks until we feel like we have a good representation in terms of how students express their concerns. With this, we will compile a summary, a report that will be presented. And when I say we, I serve on the Diversity Students with Disabilities Committee. And so we will compile a report to share with our Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion in hopes of maybe thinking of how we could best respond to those issues. So again, if you have any resources, materials, suggestions for us, we would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. And if you have any information that you want us to share with sort of this request to the CAC, we can definitely send that. So if you have anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll just put together a short email which will highlight what I just said. So thanks.
Thank you. Other updates? Angela or Ann, I was wondering, do you want to just give any, like a brief update on some of the DD network activities, SAM board, community of practice?
Right. Excuse me. Hold on a second. Excuse me. That's sorry. Yes, the community of practice is continuing to meet monthly, and we're working on, looking how to infuse cultural and linguistic competency into the DD service system, essentially. So it's a group of stakeholders we're coming up with a plan and working on that to see how that can be done throughout the state. The other thing I wanted to mention was one of the research efforts we have going on right now is that we're working with the Michigan Disability Rights Coalition on a project that would train peer mentors and peer specialists from around the state to be able to support people who, if they disclose they had experienced sexual or domestic violence. So that's another project. And then the other thing I wanted to mention to the group is we're having a conference on fetal alcohol spectrum disorders May 17th in Lansing. And we'll be getting more information out about that shortly. The registration should be coming out. So I just wanted to mention that. It's going to have nationwide speakers and research on fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, as well as we will have local breakout sessions in the afternoon with people who can share kind of practical ways to support people with FASDs. So that's it.
Thank you. Angela.
Well, I kind of feel like Barb should give this report because I talk about the Self Advocates of Michigan. Barb, no, you don't want to? Okay. So I can just share that. Well, I'll speak. I'll as a support to Barb and her colleagues on the Self Advocates of Michigan board. They had a board meeting last week, and a 2-day in-person board meeting, and they're getting ready for the Self Advocates of Michigan is supported by a collaboration from the DD Network, which includes Michigan Protection and Advocacy, but is primarily supported by the DD Council. And as our partnerships, we each are supporting one aspect of the work of SAM. And I support the membership committee, which Barb is a member of and has been our past chair. So we are actually, Barb just, if she was speaking, she'd tell you they're looking for new board members. So if you know folks that are looking to...
Yes.
Okay, good. Thanks, Barb. Self Advocates of Michigan has a board application that is open from now until March 31st.
Is that a website yet?
Say it one more time, Barb.
Is the application on the website yet?
Yes, it is. It's on the website. So Self Advocates of Michigan has a website. They also have a Facebook page, and the application is available online and can be downloaded if somebody wanted to fill it out and submit a paper application. And then in the coming months, the group will interview candidates to join the board and have formal elections in June, and the new members will join in July. I'll also mention that the DD Council is supporting SAM to coordinate a legislative day. And that is coming up in May. And so if folks want to get information with that, we'll share that as part of our DD partnership as well. And Barb, is there anything else I should share?
What they're talking about opening up the meetings to members at large, but the members at large would vote on anything.
Right, and so if folks wanted to join SAM meetings, the SAM board meets virtually the majority of time, 8 times a year, and then in person 4 times a year. So those meetings will start to be opened up, and as SAM is just in its early stages of planning, has been kind of thinking about these things with good thought before they make big decisions, and if they're at a point when they're in their development where they're willing to open the board meetings up. So we'll make sure folks know those dates and send you links to the website as well.
Yes.
Thanks, Barb.
Thank you both. Other updates? Any policy updates? Anything that anyone wants to share? Discuss?
I think I was going to wait for Sherry to jump in here. Oh, Liz, I see you're talking, but we can't hear you. Liz, you might need to unmute.
There we go.
Okay. No, just really quickly, I just wondered, are there more than one self-advocacy organization in Michigan now? You know, over the years, back in the 80s, there was People First, and then self-advocates becoming empowered. And then today we're talking about Self-Advocates of Michigan. I just want to know if this is a group that has evolved from the others, or are there a variety of self-advocacy organizations for individuals with developmental IDD?
So that's a great question. So this is considered the statewide group that would kind of bring some collaboration across those local groups. And
Okay.
in fact, the membership committee has and they'll be posted soon, has even gotten to the point where they've gotten local, they're going to help, so they're going to have local affiliates join as a member and individual members. So if there's not a member, there's not a local group, you can still be part of SAM as an individual stepping forward. Over the next year, the real focus is helping those local groups get organized. And so the DDA partnership is going to be helping SAM to think about how to do that in intentional ways so that local groups can be supported and sustained.
Thank you.
And I will say one more thing, self-advocates becoming empowered. The SAM board just last Friday voted to join that. So they're going to become a member and has been Michigan's been kind of missing from that national network of self-advocates becoming empowered. And so now they'll be part of that larger network across the country as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. And Sherry, I didn't know if you wanted to chime in, or Angela or others, around any policy things that we should be thinking about or know about.
I just wanted to give you oh, Sherry, you're there? Okay, I didn't know.
I am really struggling with the mute button over here.
No.
Woo! Okay. So policy stuff, I guess I would say that the ARC helps facilitate a group around the direct care wage issue, and we just delivered packets to all the senators yesterday about the issue around direct care wages, and next week we'll deliver the outreach packets to all the people in the House. We're also going to be meeting with the policy person from the governor's office to talk about the issue. So we're making a lot of effort to try to get everybody that's new to the legislature to understand the issue. In terms of just announcements, we'll be looking for a full-time position to help the Department of Health and Human Services with their site review process in terms of interviewing folks who can tell us about how the person-centered planning process went for them. And we'll also be working with Laura Demuse at the department on helping them and also implement training around the issues of, or the topics of person-centered planning and self-determination. So we're excited about that. I think everyone knows that the department or the state hasn't used to promote those things, I think, a lot better, or a lot more, I would say, and now they're trying to revitalize it, if you will, so that there can be statewide training on those topics. They're also looking to bring back the self-determination conference they used to have a number of years ago. So the person that we hire here at the ARC will be working with the department very closely on those issues. I'll send the job posting out to to Sharon when we get off the phone. It's almost finalized. So if not today, you'll see it. Everyone will see it on Monday.
Great. Thanks.
I think that's, we already talked about supported decision making. I don't think there's any topics updates on 298. I think everyone's still kind of hoping it goes away. I think there's concern, however, that the number of PHPs in Michigan and their ability to remain solvent, that continues to be an issue, and so there's worry that the health plans will say, oh look, we should do it because they can't do it because they don't have enough money. So anyway, that's what I know today.
Thank you, Sherry. Any questions for Sherry? Any other updates from the team? Or things you wanted to talk about?
I just wanted to point out, Sherry mentioned the packets that are being delivered, and I think in general, we have a lot of new policymakers that are coming into office that have maybe never served in office. I know for my own district, that's true. It's a real opportunity to avail yourself of support them and go make introductions because they're going to have a lot of information, but they're literally starting out. So just a great opportunity on a snowy day to make a Saturday with your legislator when they're in office, or make an effort to go and connect with their Lansing staff. And then certainly the federal staff, that's a lot of work going on right now too.
Any other updates? Okay. I'm trying to advance my slide here. Oh, there we go. So our next meeting will be face-to-face, and we'll be back at the 4 Points by Sheraton in Novi, Michigan. That's where we have met for a long time. It will be on Friday, April 26th from 10 to 12, and it will be followed by lunch. And we'll definitely send you information in advance of that, but just want to make sure everyone knows about that. So since it's lunchtime now, and since it's a virtual meeting, here's your virtual lunch. I hope you enjoy.
Oh, whoa!
We went all out. So I just want to thank all of you for joining us in this new format. You, and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, after this time, after we get off this Zoom session, you're going to get an evaluation form. And I'm glad that we're ending a few minutes early because we really need your feedback, as always, just about the meeting itself, the agenda and the topics and the format, but also what do you think of the Zoom? And, obviously there were a couple technical difficulties at the beginning, but just how does this work? Because this is our first time doing it, but I think especially this time of year, it's really nice to have this option. Otherwise, we go a long time without meeting, and it can just be challenging we try to find a central location. We love to see everybody in person and have a real lunch, but it's nice to be able to come together via Zoom, but we want to make sure that it's working for everybody. So thank you, everybody. Anything from the group before we sign off? Yes.
Do you think that in the face-to-face meeting that we could use Zoom for people that can't get there?
That is a great question, Barb. So I've thought about this before, about whether we should offer Zoom at our face-to-face, and I'm open to conversation around that. The fear I have of that is, like, I know for myself, when given the option to do it remotely, most times I'm going to do it remotely just because I think, oh, good, I don't have to commute, I don't have to maybe not get dressed, who knows. But so I don't know. I really think it is nice to come together face-to-face a couple times a year. And I don't know, I also know if you offer it by Zoom, it's more accessible to some people who can't get there. So what do others think? I mean, I'm open to thoughts on it. Or maybe one of them. I just think it's nice. We do get a really good turnout when we have face-to-face for the most part. So
I think Zoom is good just for a little bit, but then with me coming onto the group and being a newbie, if you want to say,
yes,
seeing people face to face, I think is more powerful because then you can connect that way and really know what's going on and be fully engaged.
I agree. And do you think, what do others think if given the offer of, like, oh, you can come, but there's this backup of Zoom? Do you think it's a sort of a invitation to have a lower in-person attendance?
I think that's also another good option. I know I was in person at another meeting earlier this week, but it was nice to have that Zoom option because it was Wednesday and it was really icy and bad. So I think it's also a good way to, if something happens, if people get overbooked, and they still can participate because you still can see the entire room. Mm-hmm. At least with the room that I was in, the person that was on Zoom could still see everybody, and when they were talking, we could see her talk, so it's still like she was there.
It's helpful for those of us who come from a distance, particularly in the winter when the weather's bad.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so we can definitely give some thought, and feel free in your evaluation to say whether or not for future in-person meetings, whether having an option, or we could say in-person strongly encouraged, but as a backup if you can't. but I really do think that there is something nice about being together and having a meal together and just periodically just to come together. We don't do it very often. That's why I've been reluctant to offer Zoom at those face-to-face, and this was only a Zoom. So please let me know your thoughts and the evaluation on that, because I'm open. I just had a little bit of, I like seeing everybody. I want to encourage that as much as possible, to see you in person a couple times a year, but I also understand we want people to be able to participate. Any other questions or comments before we sign off? Well, thank you all. Oh, was there someone going to say something?
Oh, no, I'm just going to say you'll be getting a link to complete an evaluation of the meeting today to your emails very shortly.
Okay.
So please, if you can just kind of stay on, knowing that we ended a few minutes early, if you could do it, it's so helpful to us. And we're also required by our federal funder to evaluate this. So, and just your feedback, we really want to make this as useful experience as possible, because we value your time. So thank you so much. We'll look forward to seeing you in person in April, and have a great day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye all.